Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel, Dana Di Lorenzo.
Wait, what did you say?
Dana Di Lorenzo.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You guys better subscribe and watch my friend on his YouTube channel. He is kicking ass.
Seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. He's coming. Mary, get back in the circle quick! I will not play this game anymore!
Salt shaker.
You must never fall asleep or stay in the same place during the game. Is she gonna be alright?
You said she fainted in the attic.
I've never seen her so scared.
You're playing the game, aren't you?
What game?
The Midnight Man. This is no game for kids or bored teenagers. The Midnight Man is utterly ruthless.
Your candle blows out. You must relight it in 10 seconds. If it doesn't relight, surround yourself with a circle of salt for protection. If any of these rules are broken, the Midnight Man will manifest your worst nightmares.
The Midnight Man doesn't like to lose.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the horror movie called The Midnight Man.
Cheats.
Protected.
He's very, very good at it.
Is the color of your blood!
You guys are just playing with me, right? It's just a game.
Starring Gabrielle Haugh, I think is how you say her name, as well as Lin Shaye, and obviously Robert Englund, you know, the horror slasher legend. And it's about this game that revolves around this force called the Midnight Man. A girl and her friends play a mysterious game that summons a horrifying creature known as the Midnight Man, who uses their worst fears against them. And yes, fitting that Freddy Krueger himself has a role in this, in a movie about a creature that uses people's worst fears against them. But yeah, so this movie came out in, sorry about the little notification thing. Alright, this movie actually was filmed, I believe, in 2016 or so, but it didn't get a more major release until this year. I know it did its rounds at some film festivals in 2016, but it was kind of delayed a little bit after that. But now it's out on DVD, Blu-ray, and such, and I actually watched it on Hulu, so you can find it on a service like that as well. I think it's the only one that's actually on, though, besides paying for it on Amazon. But yeah, anyway, of course the main reason I checked out this movie was for Robert Englund. You know, Freddy, of course, being one of my favorite slashers of all time. I actually had the privilege of, you know, meeting Robert in 2017 at a horror convention in Chicago. Really nice, passionate guy who still just has a lot of life, you know, for his work and everything. You know, I've talked about him plenty of times, though. You know, so I always look at anything he does. And again, it's another one of those, you know, he said himself that his usual roles nowadays are like, you know, Van Helsing, you know, Dr. Loomis kind of characters, like the older wise characters and stuff like that. But it's fine because it, you know, he does well with it, you know. I seen someone say, you know, he kind of phones it in this. Maybe, I don't know. But I honestly just think he did what he could do with it, you know. It's just kind of the role it is, and I think he nailed it. In fact, I think he should have been the lead of this movie, but it's not to take credit away from Gabrielle Haugh, though. I'm going with Haugh, I guess, as to how to pronounce it. Sorry if I'm wrong about that. But I've seen her in a couple other things as well, so it was a pleasant surprise to you know, remember she was in this as well. She was in Jeepers Creepers 3 recently, as well as one I still gotta watch, The Institute, which is a horror film with James Franco. You know, James Franco, one of my favorite actors. But yeah, so right off the bat, you know, I gotta say this movie's probably biggest weakness, I would say, is its perhaps lack of originality. I've avoided, you know, these kinds of movies because it feels like a machine. There aren't many titles in my head right now. That's because it's like a machine. There have been plenty of horror movies over the past 10 years or so that are kind of like this, whether it involves like a board game or just something like this where teenagers get involved in some kind of ritual and then they get picked off. You know, this has been done to death. So it's another one of those, which is unfortunate. But I really doubt it's, you know, the worst of the bunch, because I ended up actually liking this movie, at least somewhat. You know, I really made an effort to really, you know, get into it, probably for Robert Englund's sake. But I think there's actually a solid amount of atmosphere here, and I found myself a little bit, you know, tense, a little bit paranoid as well. You know, there's some, you know, creepy imagery here and there, which I appreciated, and, you know, it kind of took its time, I guess, you know, to kind of build stuff up. It's not that long of a movie either. It's like an hour 35 roughly, I think. So the best thing about it was probably the atmosphere. I think it actually succeeded with that a couple times at least, or at least you know, maybe a handful of times actually. And Gabrielle Haugh, you know, I think she did pretty well in this. You know, I thought she was fine. I actually like her. I find her, I don't know, somewhat relatable, I guess, with her acting style. I did see some people complaining about her, but I think, you know, saying that her delivery's off or something like that. But I also think, if anything, that's probably a weakness of the script, because I will say the script and the dialogue really isn't that good here. I'm not sure what I was really expecting with a movie like this on that end. But, you know, it feels pretty, you know, just pretty straightforward, and I don't know. And it feels like there's a character or two that doesn't really exist besides to, you know, kind of get killed, or, you know, kind of splue out some information or something like that. I don't know if splue's a word. But you know what I mean. But yeah, another actor I gotta talk about in this movie is Lin Shaye. I don't have a picture of her loaded right now. But yeah, you know, she's known lately, I think, for, yeah, the Insidious film. I haven't actually seen that yet, Insidious Last Key. And all the other Insidious films, I guess. I feel that those aren't actually that bad, though, so maybe I should check them out. I've just never really been into, like, the possession or, like, evil entity type of thing, so I've missed some of them. And she is in the Ouija board prequel. But yeah, she's, besides the atmosphere itself, probably the scariest part here. We'll talk about that in a second, you know, because, yeah, she's a little bit creepier than the Midnight Man himself in this movie. Just her expression, you know, her ties to, you know, her past and how it's tied into, you know, this figure. It's, you know, fairly interesting, put a little bit of effort to that at the beginning of the movie. We see flashbacks to her when she was a kid and everything, you know, her playing that with her friends. And there's a couple daunting, sort of, you know, gruesome kills in this movie, especially at the beginning, a couple things you wouldn't expect to see a movie do all the time. Yeah, there's actually a good handful of brutal kills in the movie, so yeah, it might satisfy you a little bit, you know, a decent amount of blood. Yeah, so yeah, she's kind of been driven insane by all this, and you later find out there's other ties she's kept intact to it that, you know, they weren't really aware of, besides Robert Englund's character. And yeah, so she kind of ends up going along with it, and I was almost more worried about what she was going to do again than the Midnight Man. And the Midnight Man, again, I really like the atmosphere in this movie. I thought they built it up well. Made me genuinely tense, I'll admit, a little bit. But honestly, I think the Midnight Man himself either appeared a little too much or he talked too much. Because my favorite parts with him, like, directly were probably where you could just kind of see his figure in the background or see his face for like half a second or something. But then later he's just kind of there, and his voice reminds you like a lot of what you're hearing in the Venom trailers now. Which is fine, you know, it's kind of your typical like evil monster voice. But he ends up talking a lot, almost to like a Freddy Krueger level. Maybe not quite that much, but still. So that kind of took away from it a bit, and also like when you see his face, he has like these interchangeable masks and everything like that. I didn't really care for it. I didn't really care for the look under the hood that we've seen anyway. Sorry about that. But yeah, it was alright. And again, Gabrielle Haugh, I think, besides being disserviced by the script, I thought she did fine enough for what she had. I still do like her. I hope she keeps doing horror movies. And then, of course, you also had Robert Englund, and like I said, he did, you know, like Ranch Nails this kind of role now. I thought he was good. And I thought he had a better role in this, a little bit more to work with than he did in another movie he was in not too long ago that I reviewed called Night World. I did enjoy this better than that. But it seems like a lot of times with Robert Englund's characters in these, he gets a little bit to do, and then his character's just sort of swept away, or just I don't know, just not really focused as much on as I wish he would be. Yeah, that's why, like I said at the beginning, I kind of want to see a movie like this where he's the lead again, either the killer, or just make him this center Dr. Loomis kind of character, you know. But his character definitely felt more key and more vital than maybe in, again, that Night World movie. But yeah, and like I said earlier, the movie is also pretty violent. There's a couple gruesome moments that I actually liked. Visually it looks pretty good. There's a lot of blues and stuff like that. Has some decent, again, you know, creepy shots. So I think this movie is kind of worth seeing. I've avoided movies like this, but I gotta think again that it does have some better atmosphere to it than at least some of them. So overall, I'm rating this one around a C+, B-. At first I was more positive about it because I was really trying to get into it, and I did for a little bit. But thinking about it for a day or so now, it does have weaknesses, but you know, I still like it, and I'm not going to deny that. I'm probably going to buy it because of Robert Englund. And again, I liked Gabrielle Haugh as well. And also the actor who played her friend, you know, kind of boyfriend in the movie, Miles, played by Grayson Gabriel. I think he did a fine job as well. You know, again, I think he's one of those characters that felt a little bit more like, I don't know if I'd say exposition-y. I don't know, I just felt like he was just another guy to think a different way, didn't really have much sort of characterization himself. But I still liked him. I found him adequately, you know, normal and stuff like that, so it's alright. But yeah, so either C+ or B- for this one. At lowest, maybe a C. So I think more so maybe around just a straight up C+, right in the middle there. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.